in the pocket. Eddie Harbrow. Eddie.
Oh, yes!
You're a magician!
Dow goes inside, outside of the boot. There's the tub! There's the tub! And the kid does it!
Keeps the arms clear. Gave it to Delhouse. Spinning move. Ablett!
Hello, I'm Damien Barrett. Welcome to Access All Areas. This remarkable season continues. The Saints and Freo in the top four. Port has a huge win. Carlton finally gets to sing its song, and the Cats continue to impress. Hello to you, Matthew Lloyd and Jimmy Bartel.
Thanks, Damo. Lloydie, look, some absolutely cracking wins this round. Your Saints, Power, Blues, but for me, the winner of the round was Freo, beating the Giants after they had a great win down there at Geelong. But to beat the Giants in Canberra, for me, was the winner of the round.
Yeah, it was a brilliant win. For me, Damo, was the loss of the West Coast Eagles and the way that came about, which raised a few eyebrows. Obviously, Nathan Buckley is looking at that, with West Coast having beaten them so many times. And I just thought the way Collingwood played on Thursday night was scary for the rest of the competition.
We'll get to all of those topics in the next few moments, but we'll start today with Gary Ablett. Jimmy, your mate, your former teammate, wound the clock back yesterday at the MCG.
Yeah, he looked like a young 20-year-old here, taking hangers in the goal square like he and his father have done in recent years. But look, he looked so dangerous. He was at half forward. He was using the ball beautifully well. 20-odd touches, 3 goals. This one is absolutely fantastic. Off the front and square, and the banana across the face here. But I think this is the role I think they probably should have played him in last year.
Right.
Now he's really embraced it. He gets up high, and this, I think I had my hands in the air about this point before he kicked the goal.
He's still barracking, eh?
Oh, it is. Gary Ablett in full flight, back on the MCG, big blockbuster game. That's what we want to see.
It wasn't the cause for everyone's celebration yesterday, was he? He got booed regularly by Hawthorn supporters who aren't known to do that. But there did appear to me anyway to be a linkage between that booing and what he had liked on social media, and that's in relation to the Israel Folau post of last week.
Yeah, Chris Scott didn't want to buy into that after the game, saying all the good players get booed. But I think we all seem to think that it could have something to do with the Israel Folau liking that tweet.
Yeah, it was pretty loud and aggressive from the first time he took a mark early in the first quarter. And what happens at big games, everyone jumps on board as well. But it turned into almost a competition by the end of it. Geelong fans and Hawthorn fans, one side would boo, one would cheer. But the more they booed, the better he seemed to play. So, yeah, Chris Scott was right.
Had you noticed that before, to that level with him?
No, I've never heard little Gazza being booed. I know all champions get booed because they are so good, but I haven't noticed it from Hawthorn fans before to Gazza. Look, they might have done it before, but it was noticeable, Lloydie. We were both at the game, and early in the first quarter you had to ask, are they booing Gaz here? So interesting. Look, people say they pay their money and they're entitled to boo. Well, that's their...
Just for what it's worth, I didn't like him liking that posting, but I also note that he did take the like away straight away. And I think when he did explain it publicly, he did so in a way that was very plausible. So I think we move on, and hopefully the fans respect the way he's carried himself.
If it goes on, Jim, is he the type to be worried at all, or it's water off a duck's back for Gary?
Yeah, water off a duck's back. Look, he's pretty strong in his own convictions and the way he goes about his own life. And like I said, he is so focused on his football that, look, he'd barely notice the boos, to be honest. I've played with him so much. He has risen to every occasion, and he did rise to the occasion yesterday.
Yep, as did Harry McKay for Carlton. Now, there's some big names in that Blues forward line, or bigger names. There's one of them, Mitch McGovern and Curnow, who was a late withdrawal from this game. But 11 marks, 5 of them contested, 4 goals, 3. Some really classy moments.
This was his 20th game of football. He's 204 centimetres, 99 kilos. It's a big call I'm about to make. I think he's the best packed mark since Travis Cloke. So I think Cloke made Collingwood a better team to win that premiership. He wasn't entitled to mark this ball here, and I went and watched this as a spectator, and this is another one. He's not entitled to mark this, but he marks it out of nothing. I don't think anyone else across the competition is marking some of the balls that McKay's taking as a 20-game player.
And a bit of flair here too, Lloydie. I mean, that requires some skill to do that from that distance.
Yeah, well, Lloydie, as you said, if it being so big, he is the actual most natural key forward. We'll see him show some wheels here. Unfortunately, at the end of it, he doesn't finish it. But out of the 3 of them, to me, he's the most natural key forward. So Curnow is a second or third tall forward who's athletic, who can push up the ground. I even think McGovern is a natural second or third tall forward. So I think this guy is your full forward, centre forward, and you build the other 2 around him.
Damo, if he can get his kicking right, he's kicked 9 goals, 8 for the year. Look out. Scary proposition.
Yep. Yeah. Really big concerns now for the Melbourne Footy Club. 4 losses out of the 5 games, and the lack of intent that was on display on this particular weekend was a real worry.
It was, Damo, and we look at some of the highlights, and our graphic Lucas Shearer, our producer's done an amazing job here. Just the space that Melbourne are willing to give, and I just think now, does he go back to basics? I know you can't go too negative as a coach, but these defenders aren't smart enough, in my opinion, to give this much amount of space. They're guarding territory, not actually guarding a man. And that's just unforgivable. We look at Hibberd, he can do it, but I don't think Frost and these type of defenders are
So all those arrows there, Lordy, you're saying they should have been on those players at the time?
As the ball gets within one kick of you, you have to get closer. You can't be guarding territory expecting it's going to be a poor kick. They are cheating and hoping for a ball to just fall their way. St Kilda, their confidence grew. The kicks they are now hitting is as a result of the time and space Melbourne are giving.
Jimmy, OK, that's a big word that Lordy's just used, that they're cheating. Do you see it that way as well? And if so, how have they got themselves to that situation after what happened last year?
Yeah, well, we see a pretty poor stoppage here. They've got lots of numbers, and I think their default position is to send more numbers to the contest, but because they've even mentioned that they've come into the season underdone or a little bit unfit, they can't get away from it. So the sides send enough numbers to break even at a contest, but then they're absolutely torching them on the outside. So the tempo of the game that they're playing, I think last year Melbourne contest footy, high speed, high scoring, they're actually not capable of doing that at the moment. So the tempo of the game actually doesn't help them. So they might have to play the slow, boring, build-up style of football for the next 4 to 5 weeks to actually give them a chance. And I think we'll look at where it's coming from, and I think it's off the back of their own inside 50. So their own attack is killing them just as much. These shallow inside 50s, you watch this, all their players are mark first players. They're not ground level crummers. So it hits the deck and we watch the Saints. Here we go. Out they come out the fat side or the far side of the ground, Lottie. Hits the ground, Saints first back. Away we go, as we see all these edits. So for me, I think it's too quick for them. They're not in the best position, and then they're getting to the contest, and as we said, they're getting beaten on the outside. Again, another shallow entry. If you can just bring it to the ground, here come the Saints next in, and they're getting torched on the outside. You go back to Geelong, round 2, 72 inside 50, Stanley gets back, ball hits the ground, and then the Cats are away.
So, Jimmy, it's called the turnover territory, isn't it, where they're kicking the ball to. So it's not, they're not deep enough? Entries, or do they need to lower their eyes, or a bit of both, do you think?
A bit of both, but I think they can actually be a little bit slower in their build-up, because as you watch what happens here, the spoil comes, but look at all these players. They actually don't have the energy to get out into defensive transition for me. So if they slowly build up towards 70 to 50 metres out, then their backline can come up, they can get set better, as like you say, and they can just play some territory game, play it inside their forward half.
St Kilda's had a stunning start to the year, and there's a real substance to what they are about. And one man who's been like that through his whole career, Jaron Geary, the captain, a very innocuous moment here, halfway through or early in the third quarter. Now, what's resulted out of that calf being connected there has seen him taken to hospital for his blood to be drained and a long cut made to the leg to allow that to happen. 4 to 6 weeks probably as a minimum, and quite possibly worse. But the courage that man has regularly displayed, and did so even after that incident in that game, just sums him and that footy club up at the moment.
Yeah, he played on, which is unbelievable. He must have been in a lot of pain after the game. But now, Carlisle, Robert and Geary, probably their best 3 defenders. But the way they're playing, the passion, the hardness, I still think they can beat the Crows this week.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm reserving judgment on them, even though they had a really good come back to the winning cycle against the Suns.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. The Suns are naturally going to have a bit of a flat moment. They've been up and about, the Suns, for the first 4 weeks. And I think Adelaide smarting a little bit, hurting, back at the Adelaide Oval, which they played well. And Lloydie, I know you put it down to one man in particular across their back half, Brodie Smith, who I know was the Eddie Betts 300, but he was also celebrating a milestone 150.
Yeah, he was, Brodie Smith. I think, Damo, for me, they are so one pace through the midfield, and they've got Dow defenders in Hardigan, Talia. Keith is improving.
Yep.
But to me, it's been very pedestrian, and Brodie Smith's performance on the weekend set the Crows alight and was by far and away their most influential player.
And acts like this from Lachlan Murphy, second-year player, obviously are part of that mix and this new Crows as we get into 2019.
Yeah, sometimes you just need something to spark you as a side, and from a young player, he's been pretty solid on the forward line. He's found a little niche there in the forward pocket for them. Yeah, look, just putting your body on the line, and you see his teammates come to him after this. So Harbrow, I don't think, was really trying to go right through him. He had to pull up pretty quickly, but little moments like that just keep you in the side, because they show that during midweek reviews. And look, it might spark a senior player just to lift their game a little bit more.
Yep. Eddie Betts, as you said, 300th game, kicked 6 goals in the game for a career total of 575. Is this the best of those 575?
Oh, geez, he's kicked a few in his pocket and the best of.
I could watch this for 20 minutes every day for the next week and not get sick of it.
I love how he said, this is what you come for. This is the Eddie Betts pocket. I've got every pocket on the ground, really, to be honest. But he's what's great about footy, isn't he? That's what brings people through the gate. And no doubt kids would be out in the backyard trying to kick their best Eddie Betts goal, are they?
And the celebration's almost as good as the goal itself.
And Damo, Chris Judd said last night that he's the best small forward the game's ever seen. I'm not sure what you class Peter Dacos as, but he's probably gone past Milne.
Yep.
And he'd be right up there as the best ever, which is
Matera was in that conversation some years ago, wasn't he, as well? Port's slick ball movement, it was crucial to what they did against the reigning Premier West Coast.
Big tick, Ken Hinkley cops a lot of criticism when they lose Ken Hinkley, but he came with a plan. They executed beautifully. Love their round 1 win against Melbourne, where they just exposed them for speed on the outside. It's just the ball movement. Jim's talking about what Melbourne need to do. They have to come in with a clear plan to try and correct their wrongs at the moment. This was sensational. 71 inside 50s to 38, so their pressure was elite. And their entries would be sensational to take McGovern out of the game as well. Yeah,
their willingness to play with a bit of dare, almost go, OK, we could make an error on the way through, but because everyone is being predictable coming out of their back half, it makes it really easy to play. Look, I know it's risky, and as a supporter you get nervous behind your nails, but at least it's predictable as a player. If you know from the back line you're going to come through the middle of the ground.
I hadn't seen too much wrong with West Coast until this game, but they had some clangers out of it and out of the way Port made them play that are of a concern.
Yeah, look, I'm going to give West Coast a bit of a pass on this one. I know Port Adelaide might have provided a template. Lots of rain. I guess, they've been a very good side for a long time. I'm just putting it, Lloydie, down to a bad night for them, and that can happen to really good sides. You don't often see Shuey just banging on the boot from deep in defence. There's just uncharacteristic, where it's not a common theme that we've seen from a lot of these Eagles players.
Not bad to get a wake up sometimes, and I think that's what this one was about. Just the mistakes. You said lack of talk, lost their confidence. Well done for Port Adelaide.
Dour is a word that we often use to describe Fremantle, but in rounds 1 and now rounds 5, they've banged on some scores. And this, as you said off the top of our show today, Jimmy, in my eyes too, was the best win of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly right. And it makes you wonder why they don't play this style. I know the Ross line sides traditionally try and beat you 75 points to about 65 points, but they look so dangerous and so exciting when they actually open up that forward line. They can still be defensive behind the ball, but it was the willingness to come off half-back and use their midfield players, because they gave Taberner space and Jesse Hogan just, back to the top form of Jesse Hogan.
Taberner's been really good.
He competes.
And Walters has been a star for a long time.
And I don't think Taberner's a number 1 forward, but having Hogan and also a lob down there now too, he's only going to get better. So, brilliant win. And the scores were level with 15 minutes to go, and they smashed the Giants late through a hard run.
North Melbourne, Good Friday time slot. They've now had it for 3 years, and look, they will have it again next year and beyond that. So don't link their poor performance with that particular time slot. But you can see here, this game has just started, and they are already lethargic.
Yeah, this is the worrying sign for North Melbourne. They got absolutely flogged on the spread. We talked about Melbourne. I think Essendon had the similar game plan that the Saints and other sides did to Melbourne. Is if you can compete hard enough against the Kangaroos inside, sides are really confident if they can get the ball off the line or the 45 are switched up, beat them with speed on the outside.
Lloydie, what's happened to North, given that they were talking themselves up last year, at the back of last year, and then going into 2019? They finished 9th, so they missed the finals, but they thought they were in the right zone to be pushing up the ladder with the recruits they brought in, but it's not happening and won't happen now, will it?
Watching this vision and the ease at which Essendon go inside, they were the hardest team to score against through the first half of the season last year, North. You just think of Robbie Tarrant and Scotty Thompson and these type of players, and the midfield was hungry, nasty. They haven't got that, so they haven't got their aggression. What have they got? And this is the spread. Just the Bombers, just the spread, just expose them really badly. So if you play North, you match them on the inside, you can really hurt them on the outside. So there's a bit of Melbourne about them.
You were actually used as part of the North Melbourne off-season promotion. That you said some critical stuff last year about them. They used that as motivation. Yeah, it seems strange and a bit premature to be going down that path.
Yeah, they did. They did obviously to try and sell some memberships. They spoke about a lot of the media and the way we wrote them off. But a lot of people thought, did they win a premiership or finish top 4 last year? No, they finished 9th. and now they find themselves in the bottom four.
Can they make the finals from here, either of you?
No, I don't think so.
No. Dame, I want to come to you. You're sliding doors. It's a sentence or two on every team at the end of a round, and you said this, and there was a couple of things raised eyebrows here, and it's about Hodgie mixing the media and also playing football. And it's the last line in the then part where you said, focus on your footy club. The media deals can be pursued when you've retired, and you also spoke about a well-paid media contract.
Yeah.
Luke Hodge took exception to that, and do you think you got that wrong?
No, I did, Lottie. I mean, as I said on the Sunday Footy Show yesterday, and also the article, margin call on the AFL platforms, I did get that wrong, and I've apologised for linking the role he played within that game to a contract that he's got. I should have said financial arrangements with Seven. I went too far on that part of it, and that part of it was wrong. I don't hide behind... I don't, as a consumer, get anything out of it, a mic'd-up player. I don't think they offer anything, but that's separate to what Hodgie had an issue with.
And he was only selling his club, wasn't he?
Well, was he? I don't know.
He was only doing the right thing by Brisbane.
The game had already been sold.
But he's been asked. He reckons Brisbane, you have to sell your...
Yeah, I do get all that part of it as well. Yeah. Through adversity, and that's come Richmond's way with the unavailability of their four big names at various stages of this year, comes opportunity for other lesser lights. And we've got some highlights here of those lesser lights who are making names in their own right, Jimmy. Shai Bolton and Sydney Stack and Jack Ross, Noah Bolter, Liam Baker, they put together a good game against the Swans.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Bolter's getting a good run out. Jack Ross, the rookie this year, as well as Sydney Stack. But Baker and Bolton have been in and out of the side in recent times. But what Baker, Bolton and Ross to an extent is provide that premiership pressure, I like to call it, Lloydie, from the Tigers. What they won the flag off, where it's that manic pressure around the contest, especially in the forward half, which helps their backline with the quick kicks. But Sydney Stack, he's athletic and he provides a lot of composure. He's sort of one of those players you need in your backline who can mix and match, with whoever comes down there because of his athleticism. And Noah Bolter, they call him the young Colt there at Richmond. Where he'll actually end up playing the majority of his career, we don't know. But he's been that stopgap for, ruck forward and back at the moment. The
great thing about this, Damo, was through the injuries, we all thought when they let go Conker, Miles, Corey Ellis, Sam Lloyd, that their depth was going to be an issue. But they've found some players through the adversity.
And we're better off for it, won't they?
Better,
All right, time now for the usual offering on the Access. It's the Access Big Ask, and this one's to both of you. Should there be a rock band playing pre-game Anzac Day?
No.
Are the Kangaroos, this is to both, currently the worst team in the comp?
Yes, but won't be by the end of the season.
No.
Again, rate the score review system out of 10 to both of you?
4.
7.
Generous there, Jimmy. Jimmy, which is the real Brisbane Lions, the last 2 weeks or the version which won the first 3 games?
I think they're close to the first 3 weeks.
Lloydie, did GWS pull the wrong rein, sending De Boer to Hill instead of Fife?
Yes, they did, but he still did a reasonable job in the first half.
To both of you, will Jordan Lewis play tomorrow night?
Yes.
If the D's lose to the Tigers, is their season over? To both?
Yes.
And who wins Anzac Day, Dons or Pies?
Pies.
All right, Jimmy, bring us home with the funnies.
All right, Jack Nunes here. Look, this is just bullying here on poor Angus Brayshaw. He's wearing the helmet, he's doing the right thing, looking after his melon, and you just de-helmet him here. You take it off his head, unstraps it, and goes, head to the bench and go pick that up. So Jack Nunes, what a bully.
And his mum, Deb Brayshaw, gets very nervous when that helmet gets off his head. And I love this one. We love T-Bell, don't we? Tommy Bell Chambers. And T-Bell, you've got to know your limitations, T-Bell. And you just do not take on the small man in Bailey Scott, but he was having a good day, but got a little bit ahead of himself.
And Lloydie, I know you're a massive fan of the Pies. They're doing everything right. They're even practicing their headers. They've got effective headbutt stats down here. This is their own team.
Ineffective, maybe.
This one's ineffective. Big the goal. The big bond's just in the way. Stop the goal here. That was going through. Doing there. But even on the other end, we saw Langdon early in the season.
Well, you like this one, yeah?
This one's just great defensive effort. Watch this. Get that out of here with my head. Just almost hit him in the eye. Doing. So Collingwood just doing it all right at the moment.
Bringing the Falcons to the table. Jimmy Bartel and Matthew Lloyd, thank you. And thanks for watching Access All Areas. We'll be back to Monday, our normal time next week, and we'll see you then. Goodbye.